I, 22F, recently uncovered a devastating secret that has shattered my family. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings, with 2 older brothers, Brian, 28M, and Ryan, 28M. We've always been close, but there's been this underlying tension in our family regarding our cousin Lily, 21F. Growing up in a small suburban town, our family was always seen as picture perfect from the outside. We lived in a cozy 2-story house with a white picket fence, and our dad, 52M, was a respected high school teacher. But behind closed doors, things were far from perfect. Our mom passed away when I was born due to complications during childbirth. I never got to meet her, but my brothers have told me countless stories about her kindness and warmth. They said she had a contagious laugh and could light up any room she entered. Dad was devastated by her death, and for years, he threw himself into his work in raising us kids. As we grew older, we noticed that Dad seemed to have a special bond with our cousin Lily. She's the only child of our Aunt Karen, 48F, and Uncle Mark, 50M. At first, we didn't think much of it. After all, Lily was an only child, and we thought maybe Dad was just trying to make her feel included in our family. But as the years went by, the favoritism became more apparent and harder to ignore. Dad would buy Lily expensive gifts for her birthday and Christmas, while we got practical items like clothes or school supplies. He'd attend all of her school events, even if it meant missing one of ours. It was a constant source of frustration for my brothers and me. I remember one particular incident when I was about 12. It was the day of my big piano recital, something I'd been practicing for months. Dad had promised he'd be there, but at the last minute, he called to say he couldn't make it because Lily had a minor cold and needed someone to look after her. I was crushed, and it took me weeks to forgive him. When I started high school, Dad insisted on driving Lily and me to school together every day, even though it meant waking up extra early. He'd make a big deal about us spending time together, almost forcing a friendship between us. It was exhausting and annoying, especially as we got older and developed different interests. Lily and I were in the same grade, despite her being a year younger. She'd always been smart and had skipped a grade in elementary school. This meant we shared many classes together, which only added to the pressure of being around each other constantly. In high school, Lily would often try to insert herself into my friend groups or activities. She'd show up uninvited to parties or hangouts, always mentioning how close we were as cousins. It was embarrassing and made it hard for me to have my own social life. I remember one time when I was hanging out with my crush at the local ice cream parlor, and Lily showed up out of nowhere, sitting down with us and talking about embarrassing childhood stories. Needless to say, that potential relationship never took off. As we grew older, the favoritism towards Lily became even more apparent. When my brothers graduated high school, they had to work hard for scholarships and take out loans for college. Dad didn't have much saved up for their education, claiming that his teacher's salary couldn't stretch that far. Brian ended up going to a state school and working part-time to make ends meet. Ryan joined the military to help pay for his education. They both struggled financially throughout college, often having to choose between buying textbooks or having enough food for the week. But when it came time for Lily and me to apply for colleges, things were different. I overheard a conversation between Dad and Aunt Karen about a college fund for Lily. They were discussing investment options and talking about how they'd been saving for years to ensure Lily could go to any school she wanted. This revelation shocked me to my core. How could my dad set up a college fund for my cousin but not for his own children? It didn't make any sense. That's when a terrible thought crossed my mind: what if Lily was actually my half-sister? The more I thought about it, the more things started to add up. The constant favoritism, the secret college fund, the way Dad and Aunt Karen always seemed to have private conversations at family gatherings. I couldn't shake this suspicion, so I decided to investigate. I managed to secretly obtain a strand of Lily's hair from her hairbrush during a family dinner. I sent it off for a DNA test, along with my own sample. The waiting period was agonizing. I couldn't focus on my studies, and my grades started to slip. My friends noticed I was distracted, but I couldn't bring myself to tell them what was going on. When the results finally came back, they confirmed my worst fears: Lily and I shared the same biological father. The implications of this were enormous. It meant that my dad had an affair with my aunt, resulting in Lily's birth, just a year after my mom died. The betrayal and deceit were overwhelming. I sat on this information for days, not knowing what to do. I finally decided to tell my brothers about the DNA test results. We met up at a local park, away from prying eyes and ears. When I told them, they were just as shocked and angry as I was. Brian punched a nearby tree, bruising his knuckles. Ryan just sat there in stunned silence for what felt like hours. We decided that we needed to confront our dad and get the truth out in the open. But how? When? The opportunity presented itself sooner than we expected. I was set to leave for college in a week, and Dad was planning a small going-away party for me. I invited Lily over, telling her I wanted to say goodbye before leaving for school. My brothers were there too, ostensibly to help me pack. The tension in the house was palpable. Dad tried to keep things light, but he must have sensed something was off. When it was time for me to leave, Dad tried to hug me goodbye, but I couldn't bring myself to embrace him. Instead, I looked him in the eye and said, "I wish Mom was here." The hurt and confusion on his face were evident, but I felt nothing but anger. Before leaving, I gave Lily an envelope containing the DNA test results, telling her to open it in front of our dad after I left. I also sent a copy of the results to Uncle Mark, knowing he deserved to know the truth as well. As we drove away, my phone started blowing up with calls and messages. Aunt Karen was sending a barrage of texts, alternating between angry accusations and attempts to justify the affair. She called me ungrateful, saying I had no idea what she and Dad had been through. Dad, on the other hand, remained silent, not even trying to defend himself or apologize. Now, as I sit in my dorm room, surrounded by unopened boxes and a life that feels like it's been turned upside down, I can't help but wonder if I made the right decision. The truth is out, but at what cost? Our family is in chaos, and I feel responsible for it all. But how could I have kept living with such a massive lie? Ida for revealing this secret and potentially destroying our family? Update 1. It's been about 3 weeks since I revealed the truth about my dad's affair with Aunt Karen, and the aftermath has been nothing short of a tsunami hitting our family. I wanted to give an update on what's been happening, as things have developed in ways I never anticipated. The day after I left for college, Uncle Mark apparently confronted Aunt Karen and Dad. According to my cousin Lily, who called me in tears the next day, it was an explosive confrontation. Uncle Mark had shown up at our house, DNA results in hand, demanding answers. Aunt Karen tried to deny it at first, but Dad, in a moment of what I can only assume was guilt-driven honesty, admitted to everything. Uncle Mark and Lily moved out of their house immediately after that. They couldn't bear to be around Aunt Karen anymore. Uncle Mark has been staying with his brother in the next town over, while Lily moved into her college dorms early. She told me she couldn't stand to be in that house anymore, surrounded by photos and memories that now felt tainted. Aunt Karen has been relentless in her attempts to contact me. Her messages range from angry tirades blaming me for ruining her life to tearful pleas for forgiveness. In one particularly hurtful message, she said my mom would be ashamed of me for tearing the family apart. She even went so far as to say that my mom would have understood, that sometimes people make mistakes when they're grieving. I've blocked her number, but she keeps finding ways to reach out through social media and mutual acquaintances. Dad, on the other hand, has maintained radio silence. He hasn't reached out to me or my brother since that day. Part of me is relieved that I don't have to deal with his excuses, but another part feels hurt by his lack of effort to make things right. It's like he's just given up on us entirely. My brothers and I have been supporting each other through this difficult time. We've had long, late-night phone calls, rehashing our childhood and how this revelation has changed our perception of our family dynamics. Brian admitted that he always felt like Dad was harder on him than on Lily, pushing him to excel in sports and academics while praising Lily for the smallest achievements. Ryan shared a memory of overhearing Dad and Aunt Karen having a heated argument when we were kids, something about keeping promises and maintaining appearances. At the time, it didn't make sense, but now it's painfully clear what they were discussing. Lily reached out to me a few days ago. She was understandably upset and confused. We had a long, emotional phone call where she told me how betrayed she felt by her mom and our dad. She said she always wondered why her dad, Uncle Mark, seemed a bit distant at times, and now it all made sense. There were times when Uncle Mark would look at her with a strange expression, almost like he was searching for something in her face. Now we know he was probably looking for traces of our dad. Lily asked if we could maintain a relationship as cousins, ignoring the half-sister aspect. I agreed, as I don't want to punish her for our parents' mistakes. But I'd be lying if I said it wasn't awkward. Every time I look at her now, I see our dad, and it brings up all these complicated emotions. Uncle Mark called me as well. His voice sounded tired and strained, like he had aged years in just a few weeks. He thanked me for having the courage to expose the truth, even though it was painful. He told me he had always had suspicions about Aunt Karen and Dad's closeness but never wanted to believe it. There were times when he'd come home early from work and find them in deep conversation, only to have them quickly change the subject when they noticed him. He said he felt like a fool for not trusting his instincts sooner. He's filed for divorce and is seeking full custody of Lily, even though she's legally an adult now. I think it's more of a symbolic gesture, a way of asserting that he's her real father, regardless of biology. Lily seems torn about it all. She loves Uncle Mark, but she's struggling with the idea that the man she thought was her father for her whole life isn't biologically related to her. The extended family is divided on the issue. Some relatives are supportive of me and my brothers, praising us for standing up for the truth. My grandmother, Dad's mom, called me to say how proud she was of me for being brave enough to bring this to light. She said she had always felt something was off about Karen and Dad's relationship but could never put her finger on it. Other family members think we should have kept it a family secret and are angry that we've ruined 2 marriages. My aunt on Mom's side, in particular, has been vocal about how disappointed she is in me. She thinks I should have confronted Dad privately instead of airing our dirty laundry to everyone. But how could I have kept something like this quiet? I'm trying to focus on my studies at college, but it's been challenging with all this family drama swirling around. My grades have slipped a bit, and I'm considering talking to my professors about getting some extensions on assignments. It's hard to concentrate on calculus when your entire family structure has imploded. My roommate has been incredibly supportive through all of this. She's been a shoulder to cry on and has helped keep me grounded. She even organized a movie night with some of our floormates to help take my mind off things for a while. Despite the chaos, I still believe I did the right thing by revealing the truth. The lie had gone on for far too long, and everyone deserved to know. However, the guilt of being the one to cause so much pain still weighs heavily on me. I can't help but wonder what my mom would think of all this if she were still alive. Would she be disappointed in Dad? In me? Or would she understand why I had to do it? As I navigate this new reality, I'm trying to take it one day at a time. Some days are better than others. But through it all, I'm grateful for the unwavering support of my brothers. We've always been close, but this ordeal has brought us even closer. We're all we have left now, and we're determined to stick together, no matter what. Update 2. It's been about 2 months since my last update, and things have somewhat settled into a new normal for our family, though the tensions are still high and the wounds are far from healed. The divorce proceedings between Uncle Mark and Aunt Karen have begun, and it's getting messy. Uncle Mark is using the affair as grounds for the divorce, and he's seeking a larger share of their assets. He argues that since Aunt Karen betrayed him and lied for over 2 decades, she doesn't deserve an equal split. Aunt Karen is fighting back, claiming that the affair was a one-time mistake and that Uncle Mark had emotionally neglected her for years, pushing her into my dad's arms. Their lawyers are having a field day with it all, and it's painful to watch 2 people who were once so in love tear each other apart. I can't help but feel partially responsible for this, even though I know the real blame lies with Aunt Karen and Dad. Lily has been struggling with her identity and place in the family. She's been seeing a therapist to help her process everything, which I think is a good idea. She confided in me that she feels like she doesn't know who she is anymore. Her whole life, she thought she was the daughter of Mark and Karen, the beloved only child. Now she's grappling with being the product of an affair, the secret daughter of her uncle, and the half-sister of her cousins. It's a lot for anyone to handle. Her relationship with Aunt Karen is strained. Lily told me that she can barely look at her mom without feeling a mix of anger and betrayal. She's been spending more time with Uncle Mark, trying to rebuild their bond. It's sweet to see how Uncle Mark has stepped up, reaffirming his love for Lily and insisting that biology doesn't change the fact that he's her dad in every way that matters. My dad finally broke his silence and reached out to me and my brothers. He sent us each a long email, trying to explain his actions. He talked about how devastated he was after our mom's death, how he felt lost and alone trying to raise 3 kids on his own. He said Aunt Karen was there for him during the darkest time of his life, offering comfort and understanding. According to Dad, the affair was brief, just a few months of weakness and poor judgment. But when Aunt Karen got pregnant, they decided to keep it a secret to protect the family. He claimed they thought it would be easier this way, that revealing the truth would only hurt everyone involved. His justifications rang hollow to me. I couldn't help but think about all the years he spent favoring Lily over us, knowing she was his daughter. The college fund he set up for her but not for us was particularly painful to remember. How could he claim to be protecting the family while consistently prioritizing Lily over his other children? Brian and Ryan had different reactions to Dad's email. Brian was furious and sent back a scathing reply, telling Dad never to contact him again. He said that Dad's actions were unforgivable and that he no longer considered him a father. Ryan, always the more diplomatic one, suggested we meet with Dad to hear him out in person. He argued that while what Dad did was wrong, maybe we should at least give him a chance to explain face to face. I'm torn about what to do. Part of me wants to hear Dad out, to try and understand how he could do this to us. But another part of me is afraid that seeing him will just bring up all the hurt and anger again. For now, I've decided to take some time to think about it before making a decision. I've been dealing with some fallout at college too. Word of the family drama somehow spread, and I've overheard whispers and caught people staring at me in the cafeteria or library. It's made me withdraw from social activities, and I've been spending more time alone in my dorm room. My roommate has been great, trying to coax me out to events or just to grab coffee, but most days I just don't have the energy for it. On a slightly positive note, this whole ordeal has brought me and my brothers closer together. We talk almost every day now, supporting each other through the emotional roller coaster. We're even making plans to get an apartment together after I graduate next year. The idea of having a space that's just ours, free from the complicated history of our childhood home, is really appealing. Aunt Karen has finally stopped trying to contact me directly, but I've heard from other family members that she's been badmouthing me to anyone who will listen. She's painting herself as the victim and me as the villain who destroyed a happy family. It's frustrating to hear, but I'm trying not to let it get to me. I know the truth, and so does everyone who matters. I'm still firm in my belief that exposing the truth was the right thing to do, but the consequences have been far-reaching and painful for everyone involved. It's a heavy burden to bear, knowing that my actions have irreversibly changed the course of our family's life. But I keep reminding myself that I didn't cause this situation, I just brought the truth to light. As I navigate this new reality, I'm focusing on my studies and trying to plan for my future. The support of my brothers and a few close friends has been invaluable. While our family may never be the same, I'm hopeful that we can all find a way to heal and move forward, even if it means creating a new kind of family dynamic. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my initial post, and I wanted to give one final update on our family situation. A lot has happened, and while things aren't perfect, we're all finding ways to move forward. The divorce between Uncle Mark and Aunt Karen was finalized last month. Uncle Mark got a favorable settlement, largely due to the evidence of the affair. Aunt Karen has moved out of state, reportedly to live with her sister and start fresh. I haven't heard from her directly in months, and honestly, I'm relieved. The distance has given everyone some much-needed space to process everything. My dad made several attempts to reconcile with us over the past few months. He showed up unannounced at Brian's workplace, trying to talk to him during his lunch break. Brian was furious and threatened to call security if Dad didn't leave immediately. Then Dad tried to ambush Ryan at his favorite coffee shop. Ryan, always the calmer one, listened to Dad for a few minutes before firmly telling him he wasn't ready to forgive and asking him to leave. When he realized he couldn't get through to my brothers, Dad focused his efforts on me. He started sending me care packages at college, filled with my favorite snacks and little gifts, things like fuzzy socks, scented candles, and gift cards to my favorite cafes. At first, I ignored them, but then I started donating the contents to the student food bank. I couldn't bring myself to enjoy anything from him, but I didn't want the items to go to waste. Dad even tried to pay off my student loans as a peace offering. When I got the notification that my loans had been paid in full, I was shocked. Part of me was tempted to accept it, after all, it would make my life so much easier. But I knew I couldn't. I contacted the financial aid office and had them reverse the payment. I couldn't let Dad buy my forgiveness. The final straw came when he showed up at my dorm room last week. I was shocked to see him there, standing awkwardly in the hallway with a bouquet of flowers. He begged me to hear him out, saying he had so much he needed to explain. Against my better judgment, I agreed to talk to him, but insisted we go to a public place on campus. We ended up at a busy coffee shop where I felt safe and could leave easily if I needed to. During our conversation, he tried to justify his actions again. He talked about how lonely he was after Mom died, how overwhelming it was to be a single parent to 3 kids. He said Aunt Karen was there for him, understanding his pain in a way no one else could. He claimed the affair just happened and that he never meant for Lily to be conceived. When I asked him about the years of favoritism towards Lily, he tried to downplay it. He said he was just trying to be a good uncle and that I was misinterpreting things. But when I brought up specific incidents, the missed recitals, the college fund, the constant praise, he couldn't deny it. He admitted that he felt guilty about Lily and overcompensated, but insisted he loved all of us equally. I listened to everything he had to say, but in the end, I couldn't find it in my heart to forgive him. The years of feeling second best to my own cousin, the financial support he gave her but not us, and the web of lies he maintained for over 2 decades, it was all too much. I told him that while I appreciated him reaching out, I needed time and space to heal. I asked him not to contact me again unless I reached out first. He looked defeated when I said this, but nodded in understanding. As he got up to leave, he told me he would always love me and would be there if I ever wanted to reconnect. I watched him walk away, feeling a mix of sadness, anger, and relief. Lily and I have maintained a cordial relationship. We text occasionally and have met up for coffee a few times when we're both home from college. We've agreed to think of each other as cousins and nothing more. It's still a bit awkward, but we're both trying. She's been rebuilding her relationship with Uncle Mark, and they've even started going to family therapy together. It's nice to see them working things out. As for me, I'm doing better. My grades have improved, and I've started socializing more on campus. I joined a study group for one of my tougher classes, and it's been nice to focus on something other than family drama. I've even started dating a bit, though I'm taking things slow. The support of my brothers has been invaluable throughout this entire ordeal. We're still planning on getting that apartment together after I graduate, and I'm looking forward to starting a new chapter of my life with them. We've talked about starting some new family traditions, just the three of us. It won't replace what we've lost, but it's a start. This experience has taught me a lot about the complexities of family, the weight of secrets, and the importance of honesty. While the path hasn't been easy, I still believe that bringing the truth to light was the right thing to do. Our family may never be the same, but at least now we're living in reality, not a carefully constructed lie.